Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. It's wonderful to see so many faces out here on kind of a cloudy day, but isn't it nice to also have a cloudy day? So we're glad you're here. Welcome to Monte Vista Unitarian okay, you know where you are. If I say it, I'll mess it up. I'm Debbie Skirto. I'm currently serving as the vice president of the board, and I'm going to give you some announcements today. We are I lost my paper, but okay. This week we have choir at 7 o'clock on Thursday. We have a Gathering Around Grief meeting here in the church at 7 o'clock on Wednesday the 20th in the Founders Room. And we also have, I wish I had my list, many things coming up. I know, I just had it with me, but then it left me. So, it's okay. I wanted to highlight a couple things too. These little papers, the joys and concerns, are at the green table in the back and also at the front visitor station. They are for you to write anything that you have a joy or a concern about and place it in the basket back there, and then it'll be announced from the pulpit. We also have these forms that are really important. We'd like all members to sign these, get them filled out for a contact number. It's very important. If somebody falls, somebody has an accident, somebody has an illness, while they're here, then we have somebody to call, and we know what your wishes are for us to get you some help. We have the Walk for the Homeless and the Hungry on the 30th, which you can sign up to walk. You can sign up to donate towards. It's something we do every year. And also we have on the 24th, which is next week, we have the kickoff for our new spirit level grant. And it's pretty exciting because it's going to help us raise the roof, which we need. If it were a little rainier, you might have found some buckets as you walked in, because we do have we have a very holy roof. And we want to get that fixed sooner than later. Let's see, anything else that I forgot that's super important? I'm sure I did. But you'll see in your announcements on Thursday, if you haven't signed up for that, you can sign up to get the announcements by email right at the front desk. Just fill out the little form and just check the box that you want to get those. And it's really nice. I could look on my phone, but that would take too long because I'm technically challenged, technologically challenged too. So welcome. Pretend you're hearing beautiful music right now because Lily's stuck on the freeway, and she'll be here momentarily, and we're going to move along. So thanks again. It's great to see so many faces. Welcome. And here is our minister.
Thank you, Debbie, and welcome everyone. It is so good to be here together and to see all of you. And a warm welcome to everyone joining us on our Zoom sanctuary online. We're really happy that you're here. Welcome to our new church year under a new moon, which brings us the opportunity for, like how the leaves on the trees will soon remind us, to let go of things that have served us well but need to go. So there is our theme of change for today. There she is. I'm glad you're okay. Yay. So sunset on the night of the new moon also brought the Jewish New Year of Rosh Hashanah. So that is celebrated as the head of the Jewish year. They also celebrate it as the day the universe was created. So I always love that night. It just feels extra magical and extra special. You okay? Do you need coffee? How about a hug? Okay. At the start of our service, we ring the bowl 3 times for today, yesterday, and tomorrow. For yesterday, we ring it for the ancestors and the founding members of our congregation, whose vision brings us to this day, 71 years later. We ring it for the Tongva and the other indigenous peoples who tended this land long ago and first called it home. We ring it for today and for all of us gathered here and also joining us online, for our staff, those who are visiting, our friends and sustaining members. We ring it for our partnership congregation in the Philippines and for all of our worldwide UU-kin, all of whom support and illumine our faith journey as Unitarian Universalists. And for tomorrow, for all who will find safe belonging here among us and make MVUUC their spiritual home in the days ahead. We have an opening song planned. Ready, Lily? Okay, hit the ground running. It's number 1010 in Singing the Journey, but we'll have there the lyrics are. Thanks, Jaryus. We give thanks. I'd like you to stand if you're comfortable doing that and sing out if you know it. If not, fake it. We like hearing your singing no matter what. Please be seated. Be comfortable. Everyone but Jack. Jack Widener will be lighting our chalice for us this morning. Symbol of our UU faith. Our chalice lighting words for today come from the poet James Cruz, titled Flicker. You go around all day guarding that flicker that you found again that morning, cupping a hand to protect it from the wind, holding it close to the chest so no wayward breath would blow it out. This flame, shaky and uncertain, is how you light the rooms behind your eyes that no one has ever seen. That wick may be frayed and the oil will last for just an hour or two at best, but it's enough. It will always be enough to look into the eyes of another and pass the flicker on to them. Push the button on the bottom? Nothing, huh? Yeah. Every week we like to recite a covenant. Unitarian Universalism is a covenantal, not a creedal faith. And our covenants are living documents that are also aspirational descriptions of how we want to be in relationship with one another and how we choose to practice our faith in the world. But this Sunday, as we examine the presence of change, we take this time to make change to our covenant that we read every week. Rather than our promise to find hope in times of fear, let's take a positive step to instead speak in support of our Justice Committee project of the Green Sanctuary and state that we will make choices for a healthier planet. Everybody agree with that? Okay, good. So I invite you to join in and let's stand. We'll follow the covenant with a singing of Spirit of Life. Stand as you're comfortable. We affirm that love is the greatest purpose of this congregation. The search for truth is our constant star, and service is our prayer. We pledge our hearts, minds, and hands to challenge injustice with courage, to make choices for a healthier planet, and to live out our Unitarian Universalist values every day as beloved community. Thus do we covenant with each other and with all that is sacred in life. Thank you. I'd like to invite Robert Tidwell, our Director of Lifespan Religious Exploration, up for our wisdom tale.
Good morning, everybody. Today's story is called Homer's Wings, and it is by Caitlin Cotter Quailberg. I don't know that it happened this way, but I do know that it is true. That long ago and far away, or more likely, recently and quite nearby, high up in the mountains on a black cherry tree, an egg was laid on a leaf. And in the light of the full moon, out of that egg hatched a little brownish caterpillar with white markings that would look to any bird who might chance by, perhaps like bird droppings. The caterpillar's name was Homer. Homer looked around in surprise and wonder to find himself alive in the world. "Better eat your egg casing, little friend," said a black and spiky caterpillar nearby. Homer did just that, and then turned to look at his new friend. "Welcome to the world," said the other caterpillar, whose name was Alex. "It's delicious. Here, try some of this leaf." Together, the two caterpillars munched on leaves that it spring through in rain and sunrises and sunsets. They laughed together at the antics of baby birds and hid together under leaves that black spiky caterpillar had collected, so that parent birds could not catch them. Alex taught Homer all he needed to know about life on a leaf. How to stay safe, how to munch, how to enjoy the feeling of the wind stirring the tree and the sun slowly warming the mountains each morning. Together they gazed with each night up at the beautiful moon. But one day the black spiky caterpillar started something totally new and different. "What are you doing?" asked Homer. Alex carefully put down silk on the underside of a twig in the newest collection of leaves that he began hanging upside down. "I'm making a chrysalis," said Alex. "A what?" "Oh, you'll see." And over the next couple of days, in the shelter of the leaves, the spiky black caterpillar shifted and shed its skin and became a strange, lumpy brown thing, hanging there, not making any conversation. What could this mean? For a week, Homer munched quietly by himself, watching the strange brown hanging thing that used to be his friend, wondering and worrying as the strange lumpy brown thing shifted in color and size and pattern. Then one day, out of the strange lumpy brown chrysalis, pushed an even stranger new creature. Homer watched as this new creature pumped blood into its black and white and bright orange wings. Wings that unfurled, wings unfurled and a strange new moth. What? Cried Homer. Who? The new creature turned to look at him. Our little friend. Oh, little friend, it said. It's still me. Still Alex, the one you laughed and hid and munched leaves with and watched the moon with. But now I'm a butterfly, and an admiral butterfly to be specific, Alex said proudly. But you've changed, cried Homer. You were as constant as the moon, and now you have changed. Alex smiled gently. Oh, friend, they said. We're supposed to change. I'm sorry, I lost my place of thinking on my phone. Oh, friend, they said, we're supposed to change. Why, even the moon is different night to night. Sometimes we see all of it, sometimes only a sliver, and sometimes we can't see it at all. But I don't want to change, lamented Homer, scared and sad. Change is part of who we are, said the butterfly. And now our friendship must change too. I must fly away in search of flowers and other butterflies, and eventually I will fly south to stay warm in the winter. You must continue to eat and grow and stay safe from the birds, but you will change too. Just remember, you are loved, and whatever your body does, you are beautiful. You are a beautiful friend, and I'm glad to know you. And with that, Alex took to the sky. All that summer, Homer, the little brown caterpillar, ate and grew and hid and watched the moon, which did indeed look a little different every night. Homer became a bigger brown caterpillar. His white splotch turned into two little eye shapes, so he looked like a fearsome snake that no birds would eat. Day by day, the seasons moved towards autumn. Finally, Homer found his own safe spot to hang upside down and shifted into a chrysalis. This was scary, but Homer remembered his friend and was brave. All winter, the chrysalis hung there, safe and still, and in the spring, Homer felt himself stir, felt his new body shift once again, and wriggled free to find himself with a new mouth and different shape and wings. Wings that were yellow and black and blue and orange and glorious. Oh my, said Homer, the Appalachian tiger swallowtail, gazing at himself in wonder and delight. And then he took off into the sky, up towards the bright moon, bold as a bird, up the broad sweep of the spruce knob. So that's our story for today. Thank you. And now if Jaryus can put the words on the screen, you can sing us out to class.
Have a great time, everybody. Especially the adults that love being with all those kids. That's great. I love to see that. Half the room is empty. That's great. Yay! At our annual meeting in May, the congregation voted to become a Share the Plate congregation and split the undesignated offerings that we receive 50-50 with a local nonprofit that serves the needs of our neighbors. During the month of September, all donations that are not designated to fulfill your pledges that you promised to the congregation will go to Inland Valley Hope Partners. We have a long history of support for Inland Valley Hope Partners. It's a supportive services organization that's headquartered here in Pomona that ensures the empowerment of others by providing food, shelter, and other services to our neighbors, our friends, and our relatives that are finding themselves in need. As the generous caretakers of them and this community, we give from our hearts to maintain its physical and spiritual well-being. So thank you for your kind and generous offerings that are mailed in or donated online. And all that we do in care for each other is offered toward our wholeness. Our many offerings of time, talent, and treasure are valuable gifts that we could not do without. It is with grateful appreciation that our offerings will now be given and received from those who are here in the sanctuary. Hi. It's just so great to see you all. Just so happy. That's my joy. No concerns. But sharing our joys and concerns is something that we enjoy doing in this congregation. It's something that we do in our private conversations, but also as a part of our worship. We share the things that we want others to know about and to celebrate. I have two wonderful joys today. The first is for George and Ellen. We are so happy for you. Can you just maybe stand or give a wave? George and Ellen are celebrating their 46th wedding anniversary today. And how nice you're spending it with us. Thank you. Thank you. It's really a great honor. We'll celebrate that a little later too. Yeah. Also, this one comes from Letha and Alan, who left to go down to with the children. But Letha writes, "We are free. After my visit with the surgeon, I am free to drive, and Alan is free from chauffeuring." So very good, very good. Jaryus, do you have any on the, okay. Nope, I don't see any on my little screen, but I'd just like to check. I don't want to leave anybody out who's trying to type a message to us from the Zoom. I invite you to maybe come forward. I'm going to light a candle for the things that are unspoken, because we celebrated a couple of joys this morning. But we all know in these times, and I could probably name 3 or 4 things that are really weighing on me right now. So I'm going to light this candle as a sign of our hope and witness for all the things that are unspoken. And I would invite you too to come forward. If there's someone in your life that you're thinking about and carrying in your heart, you'd like to light a candle for them, I invite you to come forward and do that. As we enter this time of prayer together, I invite you to join or to sit this ritual out as you're comfortable. Prayer is often defined as a memorized plea that is spoken or sung to a god or goddess. It can be seen as an appeal or a seeking of a response from spirit, an offering that bestows deep gratitude or a cry for change in any given situation, hoping to shift an outcome, hoping for change for good. There are many ways to pray, and as many ways to pray as there are beating hearts. And this time is set apart for each of us to step in and bring ours, woven together silently, setting the intentions that we long to manifest. Today's prayer is offered on behalf of every spoken and unspoken joy and sorrow, the mix of yin and yang that we walk with in our lives, day and night, for the sufferings and the celebrations, the birthings and the dyings. We sit together in this space that is made sacred by our presence, and we hold open our hearts. We offer love to every perception of fear, and we offer healing to every broken promise. We offer our compassion for every being who longs for it, and we sit in our sacred space in shared silence. May it be so. Our gentle song for this week may seem a wee bit familiar. Wo Ya Ya was our gentle song last week, but we have selected it as one of those unfamiliar hymns that we're going to sing each Sunday in September and then add it to the regular hymns. But this week we will sing along with the video that Jaryus is getting ready for us. So it'll sound a little different than it did last week when we were singing with the beautiful choir that we had. It was so wonderful to have them. Wo Ya Ya in the Ga language of Ghana means we are going. So I invite you to stay seated, enjoy the video that's just about to start. We know we tested it.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh-ya-ya, 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 we are going. Heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah, 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 oh yeah, yeah.
That sounded great. I really liked that video. I hope you did too. I put the link to it in your order of service if you want to type all those funny letters in and try to find it on your Wi-Fi. Our reading for today is called In the Dark of the Moon, and it's written by C.H.A.N.G.E. In the dark of the moon, before she slips toward becoming new, bury all the things that need to dissolve back into the mystery. Sing songs over those things that were common in your life but have died, gone away, or let go of you. Make offerings to that which feels too hard to let go of, even though you know you need to. Ask the dark curves of the moon to soften the edges of what feels as if it is sudden loss, a change that is too much to bear. But we can try together to not confuse burying the things that have died in their time with burying what we do not wish to see anymore or ever, or burying the things that we were afraid to know the truth of. So let us train ourselves in the dark to dig up all of those things that we buried that instead needs our deep listening in order to pull the threads of our life force back into alignment with sanity, love, and joy. We live better when we see that the truths that we tried to bury were really love trying to set us free. Free to be who we really already are, but with stronger roots, sweeter fruits. The darkness can be a kind of a light too. More love, not less. One of the challenges of putting a Sunday service together is making sure you've got everything flowing just right. You think of the energies of the different elements and you want them to be in exactly the right place. And you want maybe some listening and then some singing and then some movement. And I messed it up. I had a special conversation for all of you that somehow didn't make it into my script, but it's in your order of service and it's coming right now. John, if you could come forward. You! Yes, you. In our exploration into change, we have a beautiful story from John Fisher, one of our beloved congregants, who has his own experience with change that he's going to tell us about. Thank you. I don't want you to feel abandoned by my mistake. I apologize.
It's okay. I will survive. Okay. Yes. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are you today? I am really good because I'm going to share a story with you. This story takes place about 20 years ago. I was in my last dive to become a scuba diver, and I get a call from my mom. My mom told me my dad had cancer. Oh, which is kind of unusual because if you knew my dad, he was a health food nut. He worked out every day, washboard stomach. He loved to eat organic foods. He loved and he got cancer. So anyway, it was kind of a changing situation for our family. His cancer was actually a slow-acting cancer. It went on for a couple years, actually. And there was one time my mom called and said he was going to have surgery down in Los Angeles at Kaiser. She said it was a 6-hour surgery, and she also mentioned the fact that there was a possibility that he could die within the first 2 hours. But she said, don't worry, you don't have to come. I came. I got in my truck and I drove down to LA and I'm looking at the clock, okay? Tick-tock, okay, we're at that 2-hour point. We've now passed that 2-hour point. I'm walking to the hospital. I see the steps there. I'm gonna find out in a few moments if my dad is alive or dead. I started booking up those stairs. I was running up those stairs. And in the lobby, I could see my mom, and when she saw me, she jumped up and she was smiling and I was waving, and I thought, oh, good, he's alive. My poor heart cannot take that. Well, eventually he did pass away at home as he wanted to. I got a call from my sister-in-law. I went up there. He was still in bed. My niece and nephew were there. We got him out of the house. We called the funeral people. And as I was waiting, I took some hair that was in his face and moved that up to the side. It was cold. When the funeral people came in, I helped them put him in a body bag. Been done that before. And they took him to the funeral. Planning his funeral was nothing but tears. My mom and sister-in-law, especially when they played the music. And the day of the funeral, I didn't think my mom was ever going to survive. There was just way too many tears. So anyway, we went to a grief therapy group in Redlands at a Baptist church. And in the parking lot, Mom turned to me and said, "Don't say a word." I said, "Mom, no." She goes, "Promise me you won't say a word." I did. Damn. I got in there, and this guy talking to these people that have gone through the biggest nightmare of their life is now telling them,
My Facebook friend and UFO's master from Riverside. I know you very well.
well, thank you for interrupting me. Anyway.
You're the master.
Yes.
So
Anyway,
I'm drunk.
thank you for sure. May I continue?
Of course.
Thank you, you're so kind.
Very sorry to interrupt.
So anyway, this guy got up in front of all these people that are going through a nightmare in their life and telling them things like, be careful you don't lose your faith because you risk eternal damnation you do. Also said that you will never see your spouse in heaven. I could not rebut because I'm bounded by a promise. Well, thank God for antidepressants because my mom got through it, and she actually went to Europe. I didn't think she was ever going to get through this. But this gave me a point of reference. This was the closest person at that point that I've ever had to deal with cancer until I got somebody even closer. My health care is giving that to the VA hospital. And they are very good at making sure their veterans stay healthy and take the required tests. And one test that they tried to get me to do for years and years was a colonoscopy. I did not want to do one because I know it's involved, yes. I've seen it, experienced it, but I've never experienced it personally. And I did everything. One doctor came to me and said, "You need to do this." And I said, "No, it's against my religion. I'm a Unitarian." He laughed too because the guy was from Boston. So that didn't work. Well, they quartered me and I finally said that word yes. Well, it started the whole process. Unless you've had one of these, you will not know what to experience. First thing is they sent me some what is called Go Lightly. It's a liquid. It is not Go Lightly. It is more like go like a freaking jet engine. So I followed their instructions, and the next day I was at the hospital. And I was lying in the bed, and the nurse comes to me and says, "Good morning, Mr. Fisher, how are you?" And I responded, "Well, I'm laying in your bed with a gown that's too short, my boys are hanging out." I said, "I got a piece of metal hanging on my right arm. I had diarrhea like a jet engine. And in a few moments, I'm going to get a camera shoved up my buttocks. And how's your morning?" She goes, "Oh, just fine, thank you." So the process began, and they were looking around. And people say that the human body is a beautiful thing. Not from the inside, it's not beautiful at all. Well, lo and behold, they found a postage stamp piece of tissue that should not be there. So it needed to come out. Now there are 3 stages. The first one was surgery. I went for surgery. Now fortunately I had a partner, a husband that was there, although he did eat my lunch in front of me. And he was messing with my IVs. I told him to knock it off. But they went in for surgery, clipped it out of me. Okay, there it goes. But we're not done yet. The second part is the chemo. So as I'm sitting there later on, I have an IV in my arm. Oh, by the way, chemo, when it goes into your body, you can feel it. It does feel cold. And the last one, which was kind of surreal, was the radiation. Now that was given over at the hospital, the Loma Linda University Medical Center. Trying to get a hamburger in that cafeteria is almost impossible. They're all vegetarian. And coffee, forget that. But one of the things I learned when you go into this tube, this cylinder, you have to stay still for 20 minutes. Okay, that's not a problem unless you forget to go to the bathroom first. And I learned that the hard way. It was almost a nightmare. We'll never make that mistake again. So FYI, go to the bathroom first. So this went on for a whole month, Monday through Friday, for 4 weeks. Now the way it made this so different is they had a waiting room, and I got to speak with some of the families and some of the people that were going through this. It was surreal. It was, when you think of all the problems you have in your life, all the things and that's going on, and oh, this, that, and everything, try hanging out with parents. Their child is going through this. And I had some very intense conversations with them. And I don't know how many times I told a parent or a spouse that they were a good parent. And apparently they really like that because they don't hear enough of that. But we went through the process, and I learned these children were very adult-like. They were not really as scared. Parents more so. But there was also a feeling of helplessness too. But how did it change me? Well, when you're in a room of people talking about this, your little problems are really quite trivial on the grand things. Cancer brings all of us together. And whether we're black or white or Hispanic, we're all the same dealing with this. And it's scary. And it made me think, John, some of the things that you find so important are really quite trivial. What I want to make a point to is I want everybody here to consider getting a colonoscopy. Yes, it's going to be nasty, but yes, it can save your life. It is also something else you need to realize when you're dealing with cancer. Do you trust your doctor? If you don't, get a new one. You must trust your doctor. I did. I always have trust issues, but I did. And it's a good thing because, ladies and gentlemen, a dramatic pause, I got a letter from the VA hospital of Loma in California saying, drum roll please, that would be you. Click, 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 click. Cancer free.
Yay.
But the cancer may be gone, but the memory and experience still remains.
Thank you for your story. Preparing a sermon on today's theme of change was a challenge. Even opening the box that's labeled change takes a great deal of courage. But leaving that box shut and stored away in the back of life's closet is like trying to ignore the elephant in the room. And maybe even more importantly, it's totally contrary to the covenant that we read to one another each Sunday. Fear is natural in the face of any engagement with growth and change. And feeling it is much healthier than trying to push it down and use all of our energies to act as if we are undaunted by what we see or feel or suffer. So let's open that topic and talk a bit about the change that feels like a tsunami of late. Maybe we can shift our fear of what's coming next just a bit and open bravely toward all of the things that we need to see differently now. As the change in all of our lives rolls in more often and more quickly than any of us would prefer. And I don't think that at this point we're going to be able to do anything to slow it down. Maybe we can face our fear of more change, and even if we can't eliminate it, we can make it into something that, like Goldilocks and her 3 bears, it can be just right. Maybe like Goldilocks, we can sense that the change is just the right size, a doable size for now. And rather than allowing it to take us down, we see it coming, and we admit to one another that we have a healthy bit of apprehension. So instead of a crippling force that makes us curl inward and prevents our growth, but before we go any deeper, let's be certain to hope and hold that open space where we have all been and where some of our loved ones are right now. I bring you Catherine, our beloved Catherine, who we miss a great deal. She is sitting at the bedside of her sister Jennifer, who will be crossing the threshold from life to death soon. And there are others in our community who ask that we honor their privacy while they go through the changes in their lives. And so we do. It's a place where that healthy apprehension about any more change requires time in the darkness with tears of grief, and a time of change that will shift everything and bring new experience of what life is all about. A time of change that hurts so much that it would be cruel to ask them to look toward growth. They're in a time of change where they just need to be heard and seen and sat with. No advice, no suggestions, no gossip. Just honor and presence and respect. And we can offer that. During our joys and sorrows, we lit candles for the unspoken intentions that we offer on behalf of those who are in times of great change that is extremely difficult and heartbreaking. And in our speaking of that suffering now, we send our love and bless the journeys of those people with our promise to always hold them in heart as we walk our shared journey alongside them. Wo ya ya. Wo ya ya. We are going. And how fortunate that we are not all in that type of a difficult place at the same time. We're grateful for that. And that we have this community, a place where we can gather and be nourished, to put the kettle on, to share some tea, or to sip some choir coffee, to laugh together and to bring new growth to one another, to be a healthy home where change happens and new growth emerges, knowing that we do love a good acronym. The image on the front of your order of service seemed a fitting way to steady us in this time of incredible transformation, and to gently remind us all that it's not only is change inevitable, but it's also beneficial. So turning toward change and actually seeking to create it in a positive way ourselves is the best way forward and the best way out. And as poet Robert Frost advises, the best way through. Turning toward change and embracing whatever it has for us gives us a contagious courage to share and to bring forth the growth that is yet to emerge and to be added to the growth that we are already seeing. As we leverage the obstacles before us to our advantage and seek to learn from whatever they might have to teach us, let's remember and remind one another of these two things. First of all, we certainly don't deserve them. And secondly, we've done nothing to cause them. We speak the names of COVID-19 that is still causing a ruckus, the broken water and gas pipes underground, and a roof that is damaged by the harshness of time, made worse by the extreme increasing temperatures, with this summer being the hottest summer on record. And with great kudos and gratitude for our Board of Trustees, the current board led by David Adams, and also under Alan Worley's leadership, for their wisdom in seeking the matching grants that we've received over the past 3 years in a row that have doubled our funding to help fund the repairs to our home here. And we celebrate all of our leadership that is always working to empower us toward growth and to take hold of the change that is rolling in like gangbusters and create a shared passion for our future as a Unitarian Universalist community. Our team's task force has been charged by the board to kick off our conversation on the transition that's coming to our congregational governance as we work together with all of the membership to turn inevitable and unprecedented change into growth for MVU, you see. Our congregational life and leadership will be formed around teams rather than an exhaustive endeavor to fill committees that have become unsustainable over the years. But there will be updates and short articles shared by the task force very soon in our community connections and in our conversations that'll keep everybody engaged in the changes that are coming. One of the books that the members of the task force are reading is entitled Governance and Ministry, and it was written by Dan Hotchkiss, a former UU minister, who's now a consultant for many faith traditions on church sustainability. And he teaches that while congregations have been accustomed to using all of their energies to dutifully fill the seats required by the former structures of their past, others are reorganizing themselves too, to lasso the energies of change and to dream new dreams and to make them happen. In an online article that Hotchkiss published this week, he wrote that small congregations remain one of the most durable institutional life forms on the planet. That feels great. He also wrote that bigger isn't smarter, encouraging leaders in small congregations like ours to consider empowering a team approach to engage the energies of all the membership and share the load that has been draining those in leadership, all of whom are overworked and underpaid. We laugh, but really there is a call for change to increase our sustainability, to enhance growth, and to share our Unitarian Universalist values with a broken world that would truly be changed by learning them and living them. So how will we fill in the gaps between the change we see and the growth that we want to see emerge? Yes, change happens. So let's look around us and see it. But who, what, when, where, how, and why what do we need to do to let it change us? To take it to heart and to let it crack our lives open so that the unending and ever-worsening force of change that is rolling toward humanity becomes a new growth that we want to see emerge. So let's keep asking ourselves and asking one another to keep engaged and active and essential to the upcoming transition that will be coming, because change happens and new growth emerges. So let's be there. Let's be there and know that we helped to bring it. I will close today with a Rosh Hashanah prayer, a prayer for the new year by Rabbi Menachem Creditor. He says, "Dear God, may we learn and remember how to open up our hearts and minds and souls. May we reclaim the headlines with the shocking good that we will do. May our children inherit some good decisions that we'll make to offset our countless mistakes. And may we take really good care of each other and heal this fragile world." Amen. Amen. If you could come forward and extinguish the chalice, and everyone, let's recite our benediction together. It's printed in your order of service, but we also have the wording up on the screen for you. We leave this gathered community, but not our connection or our sense of belonging. In this hour together, we have inspired our hearts, our faith, and our care for the world. So until we are together again, let's be strong, be well, and be kind. And let's continue our conversations over some coffee and refreshments before our class starts.